Alright, what's going on, guys? This is my second video, and first off, before I even get to what I want to talk about today, I just want to say thank you if you engaged with my first one. I know most of the people were probably family and friends, but I got a lot more support than I really figured I would for a first video, so I'm very blessed and thankful for that. And if you're here today, I also want to thank you for giving me your time. I guess I want to get straight to it, but today I really want to talk about I had an idea, and I wanted to post 2 weeks after I posted my first video, but I ended up taking a little longer than that because I had a very difficult week with exams and just very busy, and you get into a weird headspace, and it kind of gave me this new aspect I want to talk about along with my original plan. So first off, I want to start by talking about the loneliness stage and the stage of isolation and discovering who you really are. And I talked about in the last video how a lot of people follow the crowd and they tend to kind of hide their true selves in order to follow the people around them. And sometimes I'll say God has a higher plan for a lot of people. And sometimes you are chosen by God to do something amazing. And you may not realize this because you might be in a stage of loneliness and you might not have friends, or you might be looking for a romantic relationship or whatever it is. It could be family too. And you just feel down on yourself and you don't know what to do. And I want to tell you, if you find yourself in this position, I believe that is God preparing you for something even greater in the future. And I know a lot of people say that, but I want to talk about why that stage of isolation is very important for your own growth in discovering who you are. And so, yeah, we all have a man or a woman that we want to become in the future. We all talk about, the man I want to become, the man I'm trying to become. And a lot of us feel like we're so far away from that person. And I think the stage of isolation and loneliness is the key to becoming that person. And when you're following the crowd, you don't really hear your own voice. You know, you're talking with your friends. You may be talking to other people, but you don't hear your own voice. And so you don't really know what you're thinking because your thoughts are being directed by the people around you and the stuff that you are doing. And I think the first part of that loneliness stage and why it's important is because you finally get to sit with yourself. And this is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. And it is still uncomfortable for me oftentimes. You know, I can be alone for a decent amount of time, but then it starts getting like uncomfortable. But this is necessary because you talk to your inner voice. You know, that inner voice that comes to you when you're about to do something stupid that you probably shouldn't do, or that inner voice that is, giving you direction, that gut feeling. Everybody says it's your gut. Well, it's not really your gut. It's God talking through you to you, if that makes sense. So he's kind of trying to outline what you need to do. And so when you're by yourself, God is protecting you from outside factors that you may not be aware of and is giving you direction. That inner voice telling you what to do. And you have time to speak with yourself, and this is really important. So, and I apologize for looking down. I got notes. So yeah. And I think people tend to reach the stage when, they might have a lot of friends. They might have, a group that they constantly go out with and they're having fun. And all of a sudden, the stuff that they used to do just doesn't seem fun anymore. So maybe going out, it doesn't hit the same anymore. And I truly believe that if you feel like this, that is God saying, I have a higher purpose for you. And I want you to hone in on what I want you to do. Okay, so if you feel like the stuff that you do, the bad habits that you have, and you just reach to a point where you're like, I want to change. I want to change. You can't begin that process of stopping bad habits and bad addictions until you kind of reach rock bottom. And God will let you reach rock bottom in order to fulfill your whole potential. And a lot of times people feel so empty in this area, they believe that God is not with them, not understanding that this is the process of building you to that person that you want to be. So, yeah, and I think it starts with making a change. It starts with making a change in your habits, your routine, taking stuff more seriously. A lot of stuff that you used to do, praying that the want to do those things goes away. And I think when you make this change, what happens is you'll notice a lot of people leave you behind. And this is kind of strange, but if you have had major self-improvement, you can probably attest to the stage you're at compared to back then. Back then you had more friends. You had much more friends supporting you. And this is because when you start to make growth and you start to grow as a person, you offend a lot of people that can't do the same things. And this sounds narcissistic, but not everybody was created for a great purpose. That doesn't mean God doesn't love everybody. God loves everybody, but he picks certain people to bear the weight of certain challenges to become certain people. And so when you finally decide to improve your life, that's probably one of the loneliest stages you're going to be at, because a lot of people are going to look at you and they're going to see the things that you're doing that they can't do, and that's going to offend them. And you're going to get a lot of comments like, oh, come on, like, quit being a pussy, quit being this, quit being that. You used to be so fun. That's something you're probably going to hear a lot. And yeah, like I said, this is because you are offending their insecurity. You're offending them because they can't do what you do. And so they're probably going to start hating less and less. They're going to start hanging out with you. And you need to stand strong, because those people are not your people. Now, if you do have friends in that same little pool and they want to have the same growth, bring them with you. Pray for them. I'm not saying you shouldn't pray for these people. Everybody deserves prayer. And you should want the best for everybody. But when you make that growth for yourself, your individual growth, a lot of people are going to look at you differently, and they're not going to understand you. That's the deepest thing I could probably say. They're not going to understand your new motives, because all the stuff that you used to do, you no longer enjoy. And I say that also to say, I also want to say, don't take life too seriously, but take it more seriously. And that kind of sounds a little stupid, but what I mean by that is, don't overanalyze your mistakes, but strive to be a better person. We live in an era today that tells people my age, 21 by the way, that you're only young once. Do certain things, do certain stuff, And I think this phrase gets taken out of context so much. I think a lot of people use that as, I'm going to make the dumbest mistakes and dumbest decisions while I can, and it won't affect me. It will affect you. It will affect you. I think the phrase, you're only young once, should only mean that while you're young, make decisions to better improve your life that you may not have the chance in the future to do. So life is not a game. I think we need to take it more seriously, and when you take it more seriously, a lot of people are going to leave you and judge you. And that's going to be a very difficult stage. When I find myself at this stage, it's very hard, because when you're alone and you feel that loneliness sits in, it often leads to triggers, to bad habits, bad addictions that you may have. And that is the moment that God is relying on you to push through, because on that other side is something that you can't imagine. And it's going to take time. You got to be patient. But that loneliness is the biggest trigger I can say for bad addictions. And in that moment, you need to talk to God. You need to talk to God about how you're feeling. You need to pray for yourself. And you will learn what triggers you to do what. You will learn what you really want. And I think this is very important. So to wrap up with the last few minutes, I want to talk about why loneliness is so difficult. And I think it can all come down to, because there's no one reassuring you for doing the right thing. When you're doing the wrong thing, when you are getting wasted with your friends and you're hooking up with everybody in a mile radius, you are getting you're getting reassured by the people around you. You know, they're just applauding you for it. But when you finally decide to take the steps and improve your life, like I said, since you're offending their insecurity, you no longer have that reassurance. And so you find yourself alone saying, I'm making the right decisions, I'm doing the right things. Why do I feel this pain and sadness? And that's because you have to destroy your old self to build the person that you're supposed to be. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. Growth is painful. Growing pains physically when you're a child are painful. The same thing is through mental growth and emotional growth and spiritual growth. It is always going to be painful and hurt. But you have to realize on that other side is a powerful human that can do much more than they believe right now. And you may feel alone, but you are never alone. God is always with you. And just know, when the world is reassuring you, that will never lead to anything good. That will lead you to feeling empty. That's why oftentimes when you look at people making the wrong decisions, they are intoxicated. Because if you were sober, you would realize, what am I really doing? You know, what am I doing here? This doesn't really make me feel happier at all. It makes me feel down. It makes me feel sad. So I guess I'll end things with this. Life is always going to be hard. And I know people have been saying this a lot, but I just want to say it as well. Life is always going to be hard. There's the hard part where you are choosing to improve your life and it's difficult like that, or the hard part where you choose to make the wrong decisions and you feel that pain and sadness. So I would say pick your hard. You know, either be sad about the decisions you're making, or, you know, go through life trying to improve every aspect and feel the painful buildup that you're improving on. So sorry, I kind of rambled on at the last second there. Like I said, I was looking down at notes. I'm trying to get better at this. So every video is going to be, my hope is that it'll get better by every video. And I want to start seeing if I can edit these. I have no idea how to edit stuff. So we'll see. It's going to be a growing process as well for me. And I just want to say, I also plan to make a fitness account on like Instagram, for physique progress, you film some of my workouts, what I do. And yeah, if you guys want to check that out, just let me know. And if you watched all the way through, I want to say thank you and have a blessed week.